everybody. Welcome back to Game Changers
Hey, guys.
podcast. This is Harsh. Today I have with me Jaden and a very, very special guest with Aline Kamakian. I hope that I said that right, but we're very excited to have you on. Aline is a serial entrepreneur. She's the founder of Mayrig, which is a restaurant chain based in Lebanon. She's been running this restaurant for the last couple of decades, and she started this restaurant chain from scratch. For people that don't know, Mayrig is one of the most popular, beloved food chains in Lebanon and Beirut. And of course, with the recent events and the explosion happening in Lebanon and Beirut, Aline has really come into the spotlight with her work to the community. She has devoted endless hours where after her life being changed in a matter of seconds, her employees being injured, her losing her home, her restaurant, her car. She's really found a way to be the leader of her community, and she's been recognized for doing so much community service at the current moment, and feeding about 2,500 people a day, building her employees' homes, and really being a hero for the people there. And it's really a pleasure to have you on the podcast, Aline.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast. And I hope we're going to have a nice chat.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, to get started, I think, first of all, it's absolutely amazing the work that you've done. And it's so inspiring that in such times of, so much destruction and so much suffering, you came out and put yourself forward and really became a leader in the situation. We're Game Changers podcast, and you were really a game changer for so many of these people, your employees, and the community that you've served. So first of all, that's amazing. And I would like to ask you, I mean, what's the experience been like? I mean, to start off, how did you even react to this experience when that happened? Because you must be just working in your restaurant, just following the normal day, and of course, out of nowhere, you lose everything in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Next to my restaurant, I have my offices. Okay. And it's on the 3rd floor, and we have a small terrace. The office, from the explosion to the office, you have only 450 meters. I mean, like, it's a 3-second bird fly. It's just there, there's the highway. Then I was in the office with my team. We were having a management meeting, and I saw the first fire, and I got out on the terrace to photograph and to film. And then we came in, and then after like 5-10 minutes, we start to have some fireworks. Apparently there were some fireworks, so it started to burn. So I got out, and don't do your stupidity, because I'm always hyper. Don't do your stupidity. There is fireworks. You don't know how it's gonna come. Maybe it comes to your eyes. It's not your time now. We don't want you to get injured. By the time I arrived to the end of the terrace and I started to film, I don't know how, but I crunched like this behind there was a water tank. There it was like earthquake, hot wind, bad smell. I don't know what was going on, and in the explosion, as if everything inside of you went out. When I stood up, everything, I couldn't see anymore. You couldn't see your finger. It was all dust, yellow, extremely bad smell. And everything was loud, like there was car alarm systems. And I apparently lost my hearing on my right ear. So I had like a wind, like a noise that is not going.
Mm-hmm. No.
So by the time I came into my office, I find my team all injured. I had my financial controller who was very much injured. So I started to work on him from CPR to stop his bleeding. And then I brought them down 3 floors. And in Lebanon, unfortunately, we don't have any emergency stairs. So everything on our stairs was, you had like false ceiling, you had glasses, frames, everything. It was very difficult to go down. From the second of the explosion till date, I didn't have time to me. I didn't have time for myself. I'm like, from one thing to another, I started first to take care of my team, to bring down. I've done all the things that I know on the first aid. To take them to hospital, it was another issue. I find someone on a motorcycle, I grab him on the motorcycle, I begged him to take him to the hospital, and then run to the hospital and search for your team. You don't know which hospital he went. It was very unexpected, of course, but only what you see is people with bloody people running, shouting. You walk on dead people. Okay, I've been into war. I lived through war. I didn't see a day such a day like this. It was so big. Everything, when I arrived down, everything, the street was filled of trees, building, blood. You can't drive anymore, like that's why we had only the motorcycles what were managing to take wounded people to hospitals. Even three big hospital, which is just 2 minutes walking distance from my office, was gone. So a lot of stress, a lot of people like don't know what happened. I didn't ask myself that question until 4 a.m. The blast had happened at 6. By the time I managed to put all my employees in the hospitals, by the time I managed to find them in each hospital, I didn't have the time to ask myself what happened. It was a reactive, as if you become on the spot in an emergency mode, like this, like help, stop bleeding, go and start to help people in the street, like everybody's bleeding, you stop the bleeding of people. I started to help people. Once my employees were down, I started to bring down the rest of the building. How, I'm very tiny, you don't know me, but I'm very tiny. I'm like 54 kilograms. Okay. I was carrying 90 and 95 kilograms people. How? I don't know.
That's crazy.
You have a strength, you have such a moment, you have a high, how do you say, you have a courage, like and you have a strength. Yeah, you have an extreme high adrenaline that you can use it either through helping and organizing and leading, or to do, because I had to hit 2 person to wake them up, because they were like screaming and they had nothing, but they were screaming, and I had to wake them up. So I just tracked them in that moment, because you have to wake them up and tell them, hello, you're okay, you're alive, just relax, because these kind of people, this kind of panic attack, ruin everything. I had to, I'm sorry for the details, but for you to understand the gravity of the thing, I had to, when I came down to my restaurant, one of my waiter caught me, said, I'm not seeing. He said, you're not putting your glasses. But then I saw that he doesn't have fingers. He lost his fingers, I told him, where were you? And I don't want to panic him. So I went where he was, and I started to search for his fingers and start to search for glass and bag to put them, it's exploded. I don't know, where is my ice maker? Where is this? So it's all this. You don't know how you are focused, not panicking, not getting, like it's blood everywhere. You do things. I never thought I can do such things. I never thought I can be of that calm during this situation.
Yeah, it seems like you're like a natural leader. Did that just click in? You're like, I have to help my employees. Like they're dependent on me.
There is a leadership, definitely, but there is also a catastrophic moment to hold and calm. Okay, I've been in scouts, which is very important. I took a lot of first aid trainings, and that also helped because I took them when I was 18 years old. Now I'm 50 years old, 51. So you don't know where you use them, but you remember them. In the middle of things, I didn't ask myself, how should I do this? I started to do it. You know, I started to do CPR. I started to stop the bleeding, put the things, find the fingers, put them in an ice, all this, put the date on it, put the timing on it, and put on him and take him to the hospital. So, you know, like, just you need to take the gravity of it. You take the catastrophe, you absorb it, you divide it, you put priorities on it, and then you start. You know, you start from the most needy one, and then you go to the most okay. You know, like a little bit of stitches here, a little bit of stitches there. We were 25 wounded. I was the last one to go. So there is a leadership, yes. Experience, a lot of experience count this, because at the end I'm 51 years old and I've lived through a war, lived through explosion, been there, seen that. Okay, not this big and not this close. This was the closest that I've ever been. I don't know how I'm alive, because I should be exploded. I was that close to it. If I didn't have the water tank in front of me, I should have been exploded.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
how many blocks away were you from it?
There's nothing between me and the explosion. Okay, empty. If I take a block, it should be like 3 blocks.
wow. Yeah.
It's a 3 seconds bird fly. Nothing. I mean,
Like very
nothing
close.
between these.
Like 500 meters maybe.
It's really close.
Yeah.
Maximum 450, 500.
Yeah.
So this was during the act. Okay, during the explosion. 4:55 a.m. when I find everyone in the hospital and I made sure that everyone is okay, or would be okay. Let's put it this way. Okay, it was, one was in coma, the other was just stabilizing him. Then I called my contractor to tell him to come and start rebuilding Mayrig, because everything is gone inside. No kitchen, no tables, no nothing. You know, like only the structure is there. So this is where I started. I told him at 5 a.m. in the morning. I told him that we will meet him tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. So also I started to put schedule of how to rebuild, because I know Lebanon. I know that government would not do anything else. I know that they won't even ask about you. So it's you and only you. The only thing that I wasn't expecting is that the government would at least on the spot, you have the army to clean up the road, to be able to go, because the road was, you can't walk in it. So even the army didn't come to open the road. If we had a road open, we would have easily taken our injured people to the hospitals. So I knew that Lebanese government will not help in any way. I knew that if you want to rebuild or do something, it's upon you. So I asked my contractor to come. 8:30 the second morning, we were there. We started to clean with the team that was not there. With it, you know, in the restaurant we have shifts. So the shifts that was not there and was not injured, the second they came here to to clean up. And this is where afternoon we were hungry, and this is where you realize in the first time that you are in your own restaurant and you don't have any food. So
is that difficult?
I have.
Was it difficult for you? Like, I mean, for your restaurant, because that's your home, right? Like in a way, like you've spent so much time building. Was it difficult, like seeing your restaurant like that?
It's the first time that I had a little bit. I was like, I had tears in my eyes. That's where I realized that I am in my restaurant and I don't have to drink or to eat. This is where you start to realize, because honestly speaking, maybe till now, I'm not digesting the idea of everything is gone. Okay, so it takes time, because for you, it's like it 3 seconds, boom, nothing. So that time I have a kitchen a little bit from Beirut. So I asked my chef there that for next day, please send us some 10, 15 sandwiches so that we have something to eat. Second morning, when I saw the volunteers that are here to clean with us, and a lot of people are out of the houses, they don't have houses, they cannot eat. So I told him, send me 200 sandwiches, send me 500, and then send me some hot meals we cannot do. And this is how we started to distribute food, because people knew that here there was food. And it is almost 300,000 people without houses. Without houses, not that without room or 2 rooms, without house, without kitchen, without anything. So they cannot cook. And this is where we started to distribute food. And the word Central Kitchen found me. And we started to cooperate together. And Tuesday, it was the explosion, Tuesday night. Sunday, we were already cooking 2,500 meals per day and distributing through NGOs, through people. The way that this started, it was genuine, reactive. It wasn't planned. But when you see that something is working, you just go on it, because once the explosion happened, your only concern is to stay alive. You don't have anything else. You are in the middle of a tornado, in the middle of I don't know what. Your only concern is to stay alive. It's not that you plan something. You cannot plan. You cannot see clear to be able to plan. You just do anything to stay alive. Just one step to another, small step to stay alive. And whenever you think of community to stay alive, it's different when you think of yourself to stay alive. Because when you think about the community staying alive, is automatically you are staying alive, but you are thinking of a bigger point. So how to people stay alive, how to distribute food, help me to feel myself useful and to calm myself and to heal kind of myself. It is a therapy to give. It's therapy to cook already, because cooking is love, cooking is passionate, and plus distributing is complete therapy. And you feel yourself, at least in this situation, useful, and my team started to feel better. They started to talk to each other. They started to tell them what happened. You need to talk. You need to express yourself. You need to heal yourself, because it's not easy. And I don't think we who live this trauma, we can never see things the way we used to see it. It's different. We appreciate the moment. We appreciate life. Small things makes us happy now. Very small things. When I saw my office, and I am minimalistic, and I don't have a big office. I don't have a fancy office, and I saw that there's a lot of things that I don't need in my office. A lot of things that hurt me during the explosion that I really do not need. It's if I tell to someone, like, he won't understand. But when you see everything flying on you and hurting your employees, your team, and everybody is cut because of nice tableau, because of nice things that we don't need it, you know. And I would never do this again. I would, how much I was minimalistic, I would be more minimalistic than I was.
Yeah, it was a learning experience for you, it seems like, because of course, like these type of events, like they change you for life, right? You get nothing. Life is not never the same for you. So, I mean, how, and like you said, you know, the items that were meant to look good in your office that you thought you needed were actually hurting your employees, and just kind of goes to show, like, I mean, that's a good metaphorical incident where shows, like, you know, the possessions we have at the end of the day, they don't matter, right? What matters is us, the people around us, and their health, and for everyone to be safe. But I mean, what's this healing process been like for you? Because I know it's been a while now, and you know, most of the world outside of Lebanon has kind of, I guess, forgotten about it, as it's not in the news as much anymore. But I'm wondering, you know, what's the recovery process been like for you, your employees, your people, your business? How are you adapting to this completely new life that you're having to live?
It's been almost 42 days, 43 days. There's so much catastrophe in the world that the news is going from one to the other, you know, like, if there's a catastrophe, everybody talks about it, and boom, something else happened, everybody goes there. My father used to tell me that wherever the fire dropped, that wherever it burned, this is the place that it stays burned. The others will never understand what's happening here. So we got hit, and the one who got hit is the one who's suffering. I'm telling you, I'm lucky not to have casualty. People who had casualties, people who lost a person, this will never come back. I lost physical things. I lost my office, my restaurant, my home, my cars. But I'm telling you, I'm extremely lucky because I didn't lost a life. I'm alive. My team is alive. And this, yes, it hurts. I don't know from when I will start, but I can make it back. But if someone is dead, we cannot. And especially here, you had a lot of people lost. I mean, you didn't even have seen or have make peace with yourself that this person is dead. Okay, you didn't find him. You don't know what happened. So this is much more difficult. And when you see this, the other part, when you see people are more hurt than you are, it's kind of not relief, but it's kind of makes you think that, thank God, I'm still much better. Okay, so for me, this is very important. The second thing is finding myself that I'm useful on that moment is another relief. Or I've seen, because I'm seeing around me, I'm hearing friends telling, I don't know what to do when I see blood. I'm afraid of blood. Or, you know, like, people now, they are realizing that they didn't do anything where they could have done something. And this is worse. This is really bad, because you feel like, I'm not useful. For what?
Yeah.
Whereas one thing I've done since if I am alive, thank God I am alive, I have something to do. I have a mission to finish. I have to do something. And when I started to feed people, I saw that this one is useful. I continued and I'm investing in it now. Now I turned my kitchen, my main kitchen, to community kitchen. And I have everyday volunteers helping me. And I'm trying to raise funds to continue, because statistically, we will need this kind of help for more than 6 months, because even in 6 months, not all the houses will be finished. And yet, remind you that we don't have a government, okay? It's everything is going is through NGOs, through people, nothing strategically planned, nothing strategically helped, nothing. I mean, these are the things. So I'm trying to plan the community kitchen so that I can continue. And from the other part, I had to rebuild my restaurant because I need sustainability for my employees. I need to make sure the employees job. I don't want them to lose their job. When everything goes up, in the middle of everything, when I came down to Mayrig, everybody was looking at me and like, you know, this look as, say something, tell us everything will be okay. You know, like this look of they're like waiting from you as their boss, as their, you know, that is you inside, you're torn, you don't know what's going on. But on the spot, you cannot show fear. You cannot leave them like that. You cannot. You don't, as a leader, you cannot.
And this event reminds me of lots of like catastrophic events that have happened elsewhere in the world, and like you guys are like the frontline workers. You're helping feed people, and you're doing this with little assets to even help you. Like you barely have a restaurant, and then along with that, what separates this from other things is your government isn't helping you that much. You guys are the only ones that are doing that much, it seems like that must be really hard on you guys.
Especially as a business owner, right? I mean,
look, it's when you have an earthquake, a typhoon, hurricane, something, you know, it's not a mistake of someone. It's an act of God. You have this, you are suffering, but you don't have that anger against someone. Here, what we have is the stupid, corrupted government that put this amount of nitrate in the heart of Beirut and leave it like that. You know, it's a people mistake. It's a leader's mistake. It's a government mistake. So you have this anger against them, and yet they're not even moving, as if nothing happened. Nothing. So this makes us frustrated and angry and hate them more. But from the other side, you cannot leave your neighbor who's sick, who's leaning on you, who doesn't have a house, who cannot eat. I barely have something. My friends are helping me. I'm doing a fundraising to be able to reconstruct the houses of my employees, to reconstruct Mayrig, and yet I'm cooking. And because people were saying, hey, we're paying you money not to cook for people, you have to rebuild your restaurant. In order to do everything clear, I've done a fundraising for Mayrig, a crowdfunding for Mayrig alone. And now I opened a crowdfunding for Sawa Blessed. Sawa in Arabic, it means together. And Mayrig in Armenian means mother. This is my restaurant. It's mother, Mayrig. And Sawa in Arabic means together. So it's together with the volunteers, with the people, that we are feeding people. We are feeding each other. We need to stay alive. We need to be able, as a group, to pass this catastrophic timing. I don't know it. Hoping that we will have a better future. We always hope. Without hope, we cannot do anything.
And I think it's amazing because you brought up the government, and these are very rich people, and I'm sure you're a very, very successful business owner. It was very easy for you to say, I don't know what to do, and just take care of yourself, rebuild your home, rebuild your restaurant. You know, who cares? Why do you have to do something for the community? Why do you have to do something for, you know, building people's homes? You just have to take care of employees and take care of yourself. But I think it's amazing that you put yourself last, and the fact that you thought about your employee as your family, the community as your family. You know, like you said, you know, the society that you're building, and the crowdfunding that you're doing. You don't have to do all these things, but it's amazing the leadership stories that we're getting to hear right now. And I mean, more power to you. I really hope things get better, and I'm sure they will over time. You know, everything gets better. You know, as they say, the end will always be good. If it's not good, then it's not
Okay.
the end, right? So you know, going from there, I also want to talk
Yep.
about.
And here
Um,
it's
sorry, go ahead.
they say if doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I said,
Yeah.
I don't want to be stronger anymore. You know, like every time you have a bigger catastrophe, I'm like, enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
and
were saying,
no, yeah, I was just, you know, that's a good point, because people, you know, even we live in Canada and we have so many facilities, and the government is providing funding and financial support, and we still somehow find, you know, something to complain about in life. And my message always, you know, personally, professionally, always is, you know, for everybody, you know, it's so important for us to be grateful, because look at Aline's story. I mean, you know, a corrupted government on top of a pandemic and the explosion. I mean, you know, there's so much we have to be thankful for. The health and you know, the safety of of ourselves, our family, our lives, financial security, whatever it is that we have. Always, there's so many amazing things to be thankful for and be grateful for. And you know, to go from there, I was moving towards your life as an entrepreneur, because of course in Lebanon, you know, Mayrig is a very famous chain, and you started this a long time ago. And you know, I want to kind of learn about your story, about how you started this business from absolutely nothing, from scratch, and you know, built this, where your love for cooking came from, and the entire story behind this.
and you have all night behind this. Okay. Um, Mayrig, or in Armenian restaurant, was my father's dream. And I used to cook with my father when I was young. And I lost my father, I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
So kind of his dream became my goal. And as soon as I find a time to, in 2003, it was like 18 years ago. I decided to open Mayrig. Before that, when my father died, I was 17 years old, to be able to pay my university, because you know, I'm coming from a Lebanese Armenian community. It's a very tight community, and when my father died, my mom, all she wanted me to get married. So I think for a woman is to get married, to have a kid. So kind of for me, it was not that I'm against marriage or something. It's just not because my father died that I have to get married on the spot, and I'm not gonna go to the university. So I ran out of the house and I started to sell insurance, and I started to pay my university. And I made my mom sign a paper that she's not gonna open this subject again, otherwise I won't come back home. So I did a nice PR, or I had a good contract, and I've done a very good business from the insurance business and from the brokerage firm, and I built a nice network. And in 2003, I decided to open to open the restaurant and realize my father's dream. I thought that when I realized my father's dream, that's it. I've done my job. You know, like finish. But when I opened Mayrig is the first Armenian restaurant outside Armenia. Okay, we have a lot of Armenians opening Mediterranean or Levantine restaurant, but not renowned Armenian restaurant. So while doing that, I automatically become the Armenian ambassador, literally, for the food and the culture and this kind of things. So the dream of my father to open and introduce the Armenian culture for his friend became my dream of introducing the Armenian culture for the world by opening different Mayrig. Today we have Mayrig in Saudi Arabia, we have in Maldives, and we had in Dubai, we closed it. We are reopening another one. So this is what started for me to spread. This is how it started. It's just a dream of my father, and I wanted to realize it. Of course, a lot of challenging. I'm not going to talk about the challenges. First of all, I'm not a restaurateur. I learned, I done marketing and finance in the university, and I've worked in an insurance. And suddenly I came to the restaurant business. I know how to cook from my mom, and because my father loved to cook. So this is what I know. I didn't study chef. And if I take a knife and I start to cut, you will notice that I'm not a chef, but I'm a passionate cook. I love to cook. So this is what happened. And the challenges beyond technical of something was I'm a woman in men's world. Okay, Lebanon, Lebanese, Armenian, very tight community. And in the restaurant, you have to be late at night, sometimes even sleep on the table of the restaurant. So I had a lot of challenges. And as they say, if doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. But again, slowly, you have another challenge, a bigger challenge, a bigger challenge, a bigger challenge. And you become, when you don't find any challenges, you get bored, unfortunately. So this is how I started. Being a woman was very hard to open a restaurant in a men's world. To tell my mom that I'm opening a restaurant already, that was the first big challenge, you know. So this is how it started. And I still have my brokerage firm, and I still have my my restaurant. And this is what I lost: the brokerage firm, offices, all of it, with everything, and I lost my Mayrig, and I lost my home. Imagine after the bomb, I didn't have any phone, any ID, any telephone, any computer, anything. There's nothing to tell you who am I. Nothing. So challenges are always there, but you know, with every challenge, there's a lot of opportunity. Even the explosion, there's a lot of opportunity during this explosion that you can do. If you want to work, there's always work.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful story to hear, that you followed in your dad's footsteps and finally opened up and like added on to his dream and made it your own. I really like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was it like overcoming those, I guess, those gender roles that are obviously placed on you, and you know, even being a female entrepreneur in you know, Lebanon and the Arabic community? How did you really overcome that? And of course, you know, this is 20, 30 years from now. You know, now it's times are a lot more advanced, right? And even still, it still exists, right? Where you, as females, are expected to get married and still start a family and all that stuff. How did you deal with that in the early stages, and I guess throughout your entrepreneurial career?
Look, a very important thing that my father was very, even back then, was very open-minded person. And it was my father who always told me to do whatever I want to do, whatever I'm convinced of doing. And he never separated me from my brothers. I have two older brothers. My mom used to separate me, but my father never did. Um, so I think this one of the major thing that for me, I had the package of my father, and I was always uh, concentrated on that. Um, a lot of challenges because I am a woman were overcome by stubbornness, by convinced, because I was convinced of what I'm doing. I was in love with what I was doing. I was passionately in love with what I was doing. And this, I was showing that men or women, it's not about that. The challenge is there, the business risk is there, but it's whether you are man or woman, you have the same, you should have the same challenges. Not that you have another challenge because simply you are a woman. So with time, with stubbornness, the most of it is stubbornness, that I managed to overcome these challenges. It took a lot of time. And if a man will do this with the 1 minute things, I was doing it with 1 month, imagine. So the delay, the hardness, the thing. And then you start, for example, today, I don't have this challenge anymore. As a person, as a restaurateur, as Aline, I don't have the challenge anymore. Is that challenge exist for the rest? Yes. Yeah. For the young starting woman, yes, it does exist. The mentality is still there. A lot of laws are changing. A lot of people are more aware of that problem, but we still have that problem. We still have that problem. There's a big community work to be done to be able to overcome that. And the first problem of these are the women. Because I'm telling you, my father was more open-minded than my mother, because we women, we want, oh, take care of your husband, take care of your son, take care of it. No, take care of each other is the word. I'm not saying don't take care of it, but take care of each other, you know? So for me, my mom is like, a woman should cook, clean, birth, and this, and that stuff. Always when I wanted to go to the university, she always told me that, what do you want to put? What do you want to do with your diploma? You want to hang it in your kitchen? I said, when I opened Mayrig, I said, my mom, I hanged my diploma in a kitchen, but in Mayrig, not in any kitchen. So for me, that's always a, so,
that's fantastic.
but you know, yeah, these are people that if you do something, those are the people that are pushing you indirectly, because when you tell me, no, you cannot do it, that's the best way that you push me, because if you tell me you cannot do it, that's it, I'm going to do it. So
yeah,
maybe that's why I've done it, because my mom told me that to not do it. So.
Yeah, that's a really good attitude.
That's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, going from there, as we come towards a close for our podcast today, I'm wondering, you know, after experiencing everything that you have in the recent times, I mean, what would your message be to anybody who's watching and listening, and even younger people like us, or even older people, whoever it is? What would your message be after having that experience? What did you learn that you'd like to share with people?
2-3 things. First of all, definitely tomorrow you enroll yourself into a first aid course, because you don't know where you will need it, but once you need it, it will be too late to learn it. And you can save someone's life, and you can save someone you love simply because you're trained. Second thing, don't be greedy with nice words. You know, if you love someone, just tell him you love him. Enjoy the moment, because it takes you just a second. And the most of it is be grateful, because, you know, I give you an example. My financial controller, 35 years old, is my everything. He's been with me 18 years. He lost his eyes beside his hand, and okay, those hands and stuff and sticks come back. But a financial controller without eyes. I mean, okay, so if we are healthy, that's the most precious thing that we have. I cannot tell you more than this. You know, I don't want to go into emotional, but I'm trying to explain how lucky we are by being healthy, how lucky we are by being loved. Just don't complain a lot. It's not worth it. Just enjoy it. Turn it to a positive thing. I'm a positive person, you know, and otherwise I wouldn't make it. After 30 days, I reopened my Mayrig terrace, and the first thing I've done I've done a dinner with my team that was injured, and I told them this is our 1 month anniversary. We were just born. We bounded ourselves much more. We have 5 disabled persons. We need to make sure that these persons will never leave our family. You know, we have responsibility now. And the best thing in life is to give. Just give. It's really, it's another world.
Yeah, very beautifully said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's, and I think what you said, you know, best thing in life is to give, and I think that's something you have represented and are representing, you know, as you consistently continue to support and service the community of Beirut, helping people, feeding people, you know, helping people stand back on their feet, um, giving inspiration and motivation to your employees, putting yourself in last, and um, I guess being the leader in the community, even after having going through the same experiences as everybody. It's really moving to hear the work that you've done, the experiences that you've gone through, and how you overcame some of them, and how you're still overcoming some of them, because, you know, like you said, this is a long-term process. So yeah, it was really a pleasure to have you on, and learn from you, even the entrepreneurial side of how it was your father's dream to start Mayrig and share the Armenian culture with the world. And well, I guess I should ask, you know, what is an Armenian dish that I should try?
My favorite is the manta. Manta is the Armenian dumpling. I love it.
Okay.
It's really
Yeah, I'll have
nice.
to give that a try too.
Okay.
Well, I hope one day we will be able to serve you at Mayrig. Maybe Mayrig in Canada. You never know.
Yes, when we come to Lebanon, I will definitely come visit your restaurant and visit you.
Yeah.
Surely.
All right, Jaden, do you have any
Waiting for you.
remarks?
It was really good to hear your story, because like you see the news, and then the news just after a few days it disappears. So it's really like it's meaningful to see someone that, or hear of your experiences on the front line, and it really shows us, because I've never experienced anything like that. And it's so meaningful just to hear your perspective on that, like being so close to that. And
I
it's
hope
really
you will
touching.
never experience that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, thank you so much, Aline, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
It was amazing learning from you, and we're so excited to share your story, share your experiences. It's very moving, and you know, thanks for the opportunity. And we're also going to be, to everyone listening, we're also going to be sharing links that you can donate to for Aline's crowdfunding. So if anyone is interested and can donate, we'd love for you guys to do that. And
Thank you very much.
anything that goes to Lebanon, they still need our help, even after, you know, you don't see, we don't hear about it right now, but there's still a lot of recovery that's required. And like Aline said, you know, the government is not really helping. So we, as citizens of world's end, we need to help each other and be there for each other in these tough times. So definitely, I'm going to put a link in the podcast link tree. But yeah, thanks, Aline, and thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
please share, like, and keep giving. Like Aline said, keep giving to the community. Do what you love and be grateful for what you have. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.